Hello and welcome back to another video. Today I did something a little different than usual. So today I built a roller coaster, and then recorded it all as a time lapse. And I based it very much so on Half Asleep Chris's video. He made a Lego train. As of this recording, his most recent video is him making a Lego train that he got sponsored by Lego to do a big crazy Lego train thing. And I'm fiddling with some redstone. It doesn't really go anywhere. Just doesn't work out. But it's very much based off of his thing, and I just thought, oh hey, I think it'd be cool if I made something similar and built it a little bigger, I suppose. Now, this entire time lapse this time lapse lasts over, like, what was it, 11 hours of building. So it's definitely, it's a long, I spent a lot of time working on the build, as I said, 11 hours. So, and I did it over multiple sittings, so I'm going to have to cut through between multiple different recordings of me building. And I don't know how long the time-lapse will be, the footage will be. It's 8 times speed of me building, and also a lot of it is messing around, so yeah, I have no idea how long the time-lapse would be. I messed with some more redstone over here. What I'm trying to do is to get it to slow down, so that when you come out, it goes super fast and then slows down. But that system really didn't work, so I ended up just removing it. As for this area over here that we start, this is the start. This is where you press the button to start. This is controlling the rails that allow you to go slower. And what I'm trying to do is build up over here so that when you're sitting in the minecart, no matter where you are, you won't see the sun or the orange. I wanted to just have this nice blue outside for this wintry wonderland thing. And it ends up working out pretty good. For over here, in Half Asleep's Chris video, he did a whole little Christmas town thing. So I thought, oh hey, I could try to build that over here. And yeah, I get to that a little later. Right now, I'm just trying to get the rails figured out and get it all sorted and get this little area built. There's a lot of me standing down here to see if I can see the sun, and standing all the way back here to see if I can see the sun. And it looks like I'm dancing sometimes, but it ends up looking pretty good. I might have to speed up the footage entirely. I don't know how to do that. I don't know, it might just be a longer video. But we're trying to kind of get this gorge-like feel out. And basically, it's kind of like a Disneyland thing. In Disneyland, you can, like, the inside looks really good, but from the outside it looks really dumb, like this part. But then when you're on the inside, it ends up looking really good. And so that's why there's some weird vertical stuff here, and you don't fill in that part, because from the rail, you won't be able to see out. So then just kind of working on the outside entrance, and now this is the big part. I'm gonna build a big cave, and it gets pretty big. So this giant cave thing, which isn't loading in for some reason, is gonna be where the Christmas town is. And it's really big. It's not as big as some other YouTubers will build, but compared to what I've done, it takes a long time to build This is just me figuring out where the train is gonna go. This does take this probably took a lot of time in this world, getting the actual rail figured out. And then this is me trying out the glass effect. Originally, I was going to have the northern lights in the sky using this fog effect and then a sea lantern at the top, which it looks pretty good, but in the end, I don't go for the design because overall it takes a lot of time to do, and it doesn't look great from the side. From where you'd be seeing it, it does not look great. So I ended up kind of just keeping that in mind for the future, and this is when I start to figure out where I want the glass to be. I place that glass there, finish kind of laying out where the train is going to go, and break it, decide that it should come out here because for future, and built some train tracks here. Then I start to figure out the rail system, see if I could actually get to the top and not slow down or stop. So I start to place some powered rails around, and keep in mind I'm trying to go as slow as I can up so that you can actually enjoy watching it. Not that you can't enjoy it. It's just best if you go slower during the entire bit. But yeah, we're trying to get the rail system figured out. I'm trying to place them a lot here because then it's easier to put the lever or whatever there, and then I figure out the rest of the system along to there. I end up having to add more later. I don't know where I'm going. Oh, there I am. Yeah. So figuring out the rail system, and then this part took, I think, the longest. Well, so here, I'm laying out the glass. So I'm going to start building up the walls to see how far I need to build up. And this part really took a long time. I have to build up to there across all of the sides. And I start to build up. It's a lot of this during the entire thing. I build up and I get this nice design going. And it looks like a cliff face. I'm not putting the most attention to detail during this, since it's just the outside. Really, especially over there, it doesn't really matter how it looks as long as it can work. So that on the inside, I get this nice cave-ish feel, because I want to get a nice, some sort of cave village-y thing inside. So yeah, it takes a while to get all of this built up. This was definitely the longest part of the entire build, was trying to get this all built up. So this spans across multiple of the time lapses, and of course adding in the glass to get the fog effect, and the black concrete to get the sides looking just pitch black. Overall, if I spent more time on it, I probably could have done a lot more, but for the inside, there are some things on the inside that I think I could have done more of or better that I didn't, because today is Tuesday, and I'm trying to get this recording out by Wednesday, which is tomorrow. And so I can't really add the most details. I could have added a starry night, but by the time I decided that would be good, I abandoned kind of that entire bit. I added these ice sheets in basically some of the spots that they overlap. So without the ice, it would have just been an open gap into it, so I decided I can put ice there, and later decide to cover up all the snow up here with ice, so that it's not just snow in a weird place on the wall. I really like this cave design for an icy cave, because would I build it again? Probably not, especially at this size. It was really boring and tedious. but I think for a small cliff, it looks really good. Especially if you've had some actual like caves going in with ice. So you could have this go in and then have it like an ice cave inside. And so I'm kind of working on that. I do a thing quickly and just overall work on getting it built up. And yeah, it looks pretty good right now. Of course, it takes such a long time, so I'll stop and then come back, do it for a half hour, and then realize I don't like doing this, and we'll go do a different thing. So it does take a long time for it to overall work. And it paused. But yeah, it turns out to be really good. And I might just have to skip ahead and when I start to actually have a build. So yeah, because not much happens. I know I watched a movie while building. A lot of TV. I'll watch streams while building too, because it's really boring. And then sometimes, eventually, I have to like swap to facing the other way, and I think that's what I'm trying to work on right now. But eventually, I'll get to here and it'll have to be facing that way and not facing that way, and so I'll have to like work on getting that built up. And it does take a long time. And it's really boring to watch. But I go and smooth out the edges, get rid of any unnecessary blocks that I don't need that could cause problems. Me and Mikhail actually worked on a podcast during this. We actually worked on 2, which the first one's already out, and the second one will be out on probably Friday. I could upload every day, and I killed a sheep. I could upload every day, but decide not to, because it's not great. I think uploading every other day is the most I'm gonna ever upload. Anyways, on the inside, I work on the flooring. And I think that I want to have the snow start a bit like 2 away from the edge in most places. And if there's a wall like this, then it'll be 2 away. And then at the edge, it would be 3 away. And then I would just fill it in along the outside like that. I think it works out as a pretty good floor inside design for the ground. And sometimes I will just stop to look at my statistics because I've never done this big of a building project before. This is probably one of the biggest and most time spent projects I've worked on. And so it's really nice to see how it turned out and that it turned out looking really good. I have some ice problems over here where I have this little dip in. I don't know, I think I just did it. I don't know why. And it kind of messed me up because then I'd have to do a lot of ice. And when you do too much ice, it looks not the best. So then I mess around over here because I'm bored. I try to create an optical illusion with a furnace, because then it can sometimes look like it's popping out. I try with a loom, and the loom doesn't work. Try with the barrel doesn't work. I try with the blast furnace does work. And then I remember I'm not supposed to be doing this, and I try to get back to work. And this first time lapse is 2 hours long. I spent 2 hours on this one, and I think it's almost over. But yeah, I spent 2 hours on this time lapse, and the shortest I spent time on was about 20 minutes working on it. But yeah. The longest I spent on one time lapse was 3 hours. and I actually built some today and spent an hour and a half building today. So it is definitely my largest project I've ever built in Minecraft before. But I'm probably going to end up spending this much time and effort on videos more often. Anyways, I try to work on getting this layer of glass in, and I work on building some, and a lot of these next time lapses are just cliff building or wall building, because I need it to be completely enclosed on the inside, so that's nice and dark for what I was thinking was going to be the effect. And the time lapse just ended, so we're going to go to the next time lapse. Alright, so here we are in the next time lapse. And we're going to just continuing with the cliff. I need it to be completely dark inside because it's supposed to be a cave and with the northern lights, which I don't end up doing. So a lot of this is probably unnecessary. I do still like that I did this entire thing because it still ends up looking really good inside. And here I try to start turning because it's time to turn. And yeah, I need to try to turn, which turning is some of the hardest bits to make it look good, but it's pretty hard to notice except for this flat edge here. But really, if you're not looking for it, you can't tell it's there. Then this track kind of annoyed me a lot. It took a lot of work to try and get it around the track without causing any problems. And this track eventually drops down to get back over there. But it was very annoying getting it up to where it needed to be. And then I still had to deal with it like over here. And as you can see here, I started using the trick where I just build the same pillar. This is the first time I built the same pillar twice in a row to save on time, so I don't have to do like the most effort. And also the track, I just built too close to where it's supposed to go, so I had to push it back a lot. And here I try to work on the rail, I go on the track to see how it is. I was gonna put a piston door here, I think, to try and get rid of all the light pollution coming in. I do not end up doing that, but I I end up building 2 pillars that are the exact same to try and save me time. And of course I slowly try to work my way around with the snow on the ground here. And I get back to doing this, placing the glass, because the glass is an important part. And overall, I start to get a lot of work done. But I do know I stop building over here soon and go to the other side because I was getting sick of building over here. And I change and go to the other side. I end up having to move the track around a lot because I just built it way too close to the edge there, and so I ended up building into it, which caused a lot of problems. And it was really annoying having to rework the track because then I'd have to do like, it was a whole thing. And this is when I start to build over here because I did not like building on the other side. So I have this entire section over here that I build up. I make sure to keep adding in some of the glass so that the glass, so that the first layer is ready for when I do the fog effect, which I really got annoyed with the fog effect in the end. It was a lot of work, and you can't really notice it. If I just didn't do the glass at all, you wouldn't notice anything different about it. So really, I think I should have added some end rods to try and make it a starry sky, because that starry sky would make it probably a bit better. And then this is where the second one ends. It was 35 minutes of work. So we're gonna go to the next clip. Alright, so we're back, and this is the longest time lapse. My parents had some people over, and so I ended up just staying in my room and building for 3 hours. I watched a movie on Netflix while I built here. I had an AFK. There was a couple AFK bits in all of it, because I have to go do stuff occasionally, like go to the bathroom, eat, breathe. So I do end up going AFK quite a bit, and especially in one of the closer to the end time lapses, because I end up doing I end up recording the first and second podcast with Mikhail. And so we're building all of this stuff. But I watched Red Notice while I built this side of the mountain. Yeah, Red Notice is a really good movie though. It's very funny. I would recommend it. Yeah. It's like 3 hours of this. I do finish building the whole mountain in this section though. And then the rest is just doing the inside. There's a lot of stuff I do in the inside. It's not just an empty cave. I end up building a town. Nothing interesting happens during this entire time lapse. I'm just gonna cut back to when I've finished. Yeah, let's do that. Alright, so back here, I kind of messed myself up. I built this entire thing, which I'm gonna have to give myself night vision to see. But I have to build in the sheets of glass, and it's so hard to see black glass on black concrete, especially when there's no light. So by building this roof, I messed myself up with this entire glass sheet thing. I did finish the sides, and I learned something about bats in Minecraft. Bats in Minecraft work like mobs. So I have a command block up there right now that's kind of just killing all of the bats. Whenever they spawn in, it kills them, which honestly, it looks pretty cool. But bats do not spawn in light. If they spawn like mobs, like hostile mobs. If the light level is high enough, bats do not spawn. But if it's too dark, then they spawn. And so that was a fun thing I learned while building this. Anyways, I placed a lot of glass. I placed a bunch of sea lanterns, and overall this whole bit was a pain because I had to build it down to here, and then I would get stuck. Sometimes I would build myself into an area, and it was really annoying for the entire thing. And this is where this next time lapse ends, so we'll go to the next one. Okay, we're back, and right now we're placing glass. As I said in the last time lapse, this whole sheet of black concrete messed me up. So that was annoying. The worst part is that these sea lanterns can't get down to here, so I'd have to place one here, and then when I got to the end I'd have to break it, and then it was super hard to see again, so I'd have to place one again, and it was a whole thing, and it was very annoying. The bat thing is still happening, the fireworks, and we're just placing black stained glass. Last one was the longest time I had spent on one time lapse. That was 3 hours long, and this one is only 2 hours long, so it's an hour shorter if you can do math. This one was worse than that one. Actually, no, it was not building. This building the side of a cliff was worse than placing the glass, because at least that I could, it's very uniform over here. It's basically a flat wall over here. I might just have to skip ahead again. This is really boring. This kind of look like a stop motion animation though. Alright, I'm gonna skip ahead. Alright, so we're back and we're just doing a lot of stuff. Now we're placing concrete. Finished all the glass, I think. And so now we're placing the concrete to cover up the roof. And overall, I think that it looks really good, the fog effect. Of course, you can't, like, this is what it ends up being, which it looks really cool because it's just basically a dark mass. I think if I had put more effort into it, I could have put a star, I could have made it like a starry night sky. And over the next time lapses, it's mostly me working on the inside of here, which is more interesting than a cliff or glass. But yeah, this is, and compared to this first bit, it's pretty big. So I just think that's kind of dumb how big it is. And there's lots of bats in here. Here I am. So the next part is getting the floor. And the next part begins. I need to build a giant Christmas tree. Not that big. Nope, that's too big. There we go, that's good size. To build it up, I can't see anything, so I end up placing some light. I learned that you can choose what light level it's at, place some more light. And this is the trunk of the tree, so it's going to be a pretty big tree. And I did not build the roof as high. I did not plan on making a tree. Also, or maybe I just built the trunk too big because it ends up hitting the roof. But I built up the trunk, looks pretty good. It's hollow inside because I'm not a crazy person. 11 hours is as much as I'm gonna do. I figure out that this looks disgusting eventually. Like, who would build a tree that looks just like this? It could cut someone's head off. So I end up doing this, which is practically the same but a little different. And it looks much, much better. I have a pattern. I build up, I have the layer, then I have the same layer but one in, then I'll go up by one, well I'll go in by one and up by one, and I'll match this. I'll match this, and then I'll basically repeat this. And that is the tree. Pretty good. And then I think, okay, I need to add a village down here now. I'm trying to go for a gingerbread style house. So the diorite's supposed to be like frosting. Then you have some gingerbread, and I have these little lantern design that I use a lot. I try to mix in jungle wood initially, and then I accidentally come up with the design. But eventually I end up, I accidentally get this design, and so I stick with that. I try to mix it in deep slate, and then think that looks disgusting, and mix in raw iron. Would I live in this house? No. It's kind of disgusting, but it works. Then I build a roof with acacia and copper because I'm trying to go for the whole gingerbread, and I think this is the most gingerbread texture. And then the time lapse ends. Back here, I try to add in some quartz as frosting. I have this nice little roof. I add light on top of these stairs to light up the roof, and I add in a floor, and then realize, wait, nobody's ever gonna see the interior, so I just slap on a door, and then I'm done. Then I measure out where it is, and during this entire part, I'm making a podcast with Mikhail, so that's why I'll occasionally just stop playing to look at the drawings he made. Building this church thing. It's supposed to be like a gingerbread man church about gingerbread men, and during all of this, Mikhail is explaining to me the life story of Moldy Orange. It's a whole thing, and you should definitely go check out that podcast because it was a lot of fun to make. A second one's gonna come out eventually. Friday, probably. It's a pretty good podcast. Yep, Kale had his own YouTube channel at one point, 2017. It was great. We watched his first video with him. Well, a video that he made. Anyways, I built up this nice design. I have it taller on the front and shorter on the back because I did not think that the back needs to be the best. I add in the roof, and then I decide there's a big hole here. What am I gonna do? I fill it with snow. I add some of that in to light it up. Fill in there, and basically just replicate it on the exact same on the other side. I got my measurements wrong somehow, and so there's a 2 end there when it's supposed to be a 1 end, and then I make a gingerbread man. It does look kind of like a gingerbread man, like feet, body, hands, head, and now the church is done. I throw in a lot of light on the sides over there too because I just thought it was looking gloomy on the sides and everything. Next time lapse. Alright, so we're back, and this is the final time lapse. I did it actually today. As of this recording, it's Tuesday now, and I built it this morning, like a couple hours ago. Yeah, a couple hours ago. So I kind of just look around, work on some stuff around. I try to work on the northern lights, which I don't end up doing because they're dumb. Like, look at this. It just doesn't work out. And so I spend my time building it, getting it to look really good, and then I end up having to go through the suffering of like getting rid of it. Cause like, and this is one of the reasons I didn't do it, because from the side it looks horrible. If you're directly under it, it looks pretty good. But considering you're never going to be directly under it, it wasn't worth making. Because, like, you'd always see it from the side, and it just wouldn't work out. So I just didn't like it. It looks pretty good, and I'm sure someone could make a better version of it, but it just didn't work out. I kind of left it and decided to work on a path. So I got this, like, stone path worked out. And then I tried to have, like, piles of snow to the side. I built this nice lamp design to light up the, like, roads. So I wasn't just going to place light down when I could just do this. I get out all the stuff, build another lamp, and then I build up some snow alongside. And the snow was probably, this was one of the hardest parts. I struggled with this because I needed to get it to look, they're all different levels. Very rare that they're all one level like this because I did not like it. But overall, I think it ends up working out, and I really like that path design, especially in here. And it looks really good. But of course, I can't just have 2 buildings. Yeah, that's boring. So I fly around, mess with the design and everything, and then I disappear. Oh, no, I don't disappear. I come over here to work on another Northern Light, and I think that one was way too big. I'm making it smaller this time, which I'm so glad I didn't make it giant, because this looks so much better. Well, not only does it look better, it's also so much easier to get rid of. I added dark blue this time rather than the purple, because, you know, Northern Lights, different colors. But now I make second building. So I think, oh hey, I need a bakery, because I'm trying to base them off of things that would be in an actual town. So I think, oh hey, I can make a shorter bakery. So it's like short, it's only 2 blocks high. It's like a bakery, because you know, you have just a random house, a church, a bakery, some other builds. For some of them, I just kind of build it, no design in mind. But I really like the roof of this house. I think the roof ends up looking really good. I have this design because I don't know how to build roofs. Like, they all end up different. So we have that design, and then I end up switching to this design because I think it looks better than that design. But you have this like nice slanted roof, and then you have this side thing that just kind of like, and it's the same on the back. I tried to not have it to be the same on the back, but I couldn't do that. And you just kind of build it up, and then I put in the quartz frosting stuff. I also added this because it was looking not great before. The roof is dark, so I add in the quartz. I add in some stairs, place some light on top of it. And you can actually get light in the creative inventory. You have to go in and do /give your username and then light. I try to add some bread. It works, I suppose. I also put light behind the door so then it would shine through, and I attached it to the path. So I build a line out of andesite, and then I'll like kind of have it split off. Then I'll go through and mix in the coral with it. I'll have then some snow around it, and I'll build up some lamps, light up the street. So one time lapse I thought I had disappeared, but no, I was just working over here. I added in this little like spiral thing, and then just a tube of snow to get back to the beginning, which by the way, it looks so silly from the outside. From the top, you can kind of see Star Destroyer from Star Wars, and yeah, those sea lanterns are where the Northern Lights are. But anyways, yeah, I realized that I thought one time lapse was over. It wasn't. I was just in there. And then I worked on the path. So I added in some bits and bobs, a couple of light posts so that you can see. It worked out. I added in the last bits of snow. And over here, I just threw in the snow. I didn't actually get it textured like over here. Just kind of added it in, and then I actually textured this snow. How I did it, I just kind of walked through and just spam clicked until I got something that looks pretty good. And then I go off for a practice, but that is pretty much the entire build. So I like this part most of all of the entire build. This is where I spent most of the time. I'm kind of over here, I'm working out all of the, like, trying to get it figured out so that I could actually get back to the beginning. It's just kind of an empty tube here, just an empty tube. That is the 11-hour build. Yes, it took me 11 hours. Is it still a good build? Probably. I mean, which is your favorite house, eh? Anyways, so at the very beginning, I did say it was based off of Half Asleep Chris's build in the Legos. And at the end, once he finished building all of it, he does go through on the train. That's why I added the train track in. I don't think this will be the end of the world. I'm gonna bet I added more rides like this in the future. Really like it. Alright, here we are in the world. This is the actual world, and we're just gonna ride through the ride, because that's what you ride. You ride the ride. Just gonna stop talking. Just stop, don't talk. It never works out when you talk. don't look back there. Don't look back there. That kind of ruins it. Look at that, and then you go, whoosh, and this is the town. It looks very good. Yeah, it's great. Yeah. I think it's bakery. It's the bakery. That's my favorite build. And I also like the tree. The star could be better. The tree could be better, just in general. I'm not good at trees, okay? Trees aren't my thing. The tower, I think, is pretty cool. I probably could have done better with the tower. I probably would build it into a spike more, if I were to redo it. But that's fine. I don't like that house there, that tiny house. The first house I built, it's not the best. The roof could be better. And then this drop was supposed to be cooler, but the minecart kind of blocks the view. And yeah, that's the ride. Thanks for watching. You know, it'd be great if you subscribe. Spent 11 hours on this. Yeah, 11 hours.